release of Todd Phillips' Joker this week, it's time to dive in and talk about our new version of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, because now we have 8 versions of the Joker to rank. I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best, but in particular, I actually kind of enjoy all these in a weird way, because I think all of them are such different interpretations. Now, understand this, I could be missing one. Some of them are from TV, some of them are from the movies, and in general, one of them might be from an animated film that some of you guys might be missing out on your list if you guys are also doing this ranking list. Make sure to comment down below, let me know what your ranking is of the Jokers, and which one's your favorite, which one's your least favorite, and have you seen Joker? If you have, make sure to go check out my non-spoiler review and my spoiler review at the top or at the bottom. But without further ado, let's get started. Coming down at number 8 has to be Jared Leto's Joker. Now, here's the thing. I think Suicide Squad is a complete mess of a movie. I think there are really good elements to it, whether it's Harley Quinn or Deadshot or even some of the characters' bonding moments, but we're not talking about Suicide Squad. We're talking about Jared Leto's Joker in here. Now, I actually don't mind the aesthetic of this Joker. It's a different interpretation. I think after Ledger, you do have to go a little bit different. Jared Leto's one of the best actors working today. If you guys haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club, you guys are missing out on that because he gave a fantastic performance in here, and I was looking forward to him as the Joker. Was the look a little bit weird? Yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it either. I thought the damage thing at the top was kind of stupid. I just didn't think there was enough to him to really emphasize him in this world. And I think that's the thing, is like, I would like to say that Batman was kicking the shit out of his teeth, and that's why he has a fake grill in his mouth. I could be completely wrong. I just think the version that they went for wasn't the best, and I think a lot of that goes down to the film. That's just the truth. I think the film didn't give the material elevated, and Jared Leto's a fantastic actor. I think the way that it was edited was not the best. There wasn't enough of him. He really wasn't even needed in the film. I actually always go back and say he should have been the villain of the Suicide Squad film, and I think it would have made for a more cohesive and actually better movie. In general, I can't get behind this character. I like the laugh. I thought the performance was fine. But for me, even though I actually do like some segments of him, I just didn't think there was enough of him, and that's why he falls down at number 8. Coming up, my number 7 is going to be Cesar Romero's Joker. Now, some of you guys might have this way higher on your list than me, but the reason it's lower on mine is because I didn't grow up with him. I actually just started watching certain elements of him just a couple days ago just to kind of prepare for this video, and while I do like what Cesar Romero is doing, I actually love the interpretation of him. He's a fantastic actor, one of the best of all time, but for me as Romero, he's so good in this role, but I can't get over that stupid mustache. And it also, his performance is dated. Like, that's just the truth. This interpretation of the Joker is dated, and I do like Cesar Romero in there, but again, I really can't get over that mustache. Like, why didn't you just shave it, dude? I know that's your signature thing, but just shave the damn thing if you're gonna paint your face. Still like Romero, right? Coming in at my number 6 is gonna be the Gotham TV series version of Joker, Jerome, or the actor Cameron getting to play him. I did not stick on Gotham that much. I actually went through and watched certain episodes of the Joker just to kind of get the version of him in my mind, and I think Cameron is a fantastic actor. I think he nails it in the role. I'm just not a big fan of Gotham, and I think in general he elevated a lot of the materials that he was in for, and I would actually love to see him actually in a straight up comic book film. I think he could really play it off. There are a lot of good, cool things that they do with the Joker in this show per se, but again, it kind of falls flat on the show for me, just not being really that much of a fan of it, and I think for people who are a fan of it might actually find him up on this list a little bit higher. I like the look of him in certain seasons. I don't like the look of him on certain seasons, and I also don't like some of the twists that they do with him throughout the whole entire show. I think they went a little bit too much with him, but again, Cameron's fantastic in this role. I can't deny that. It just falls down at number 6 just because I wasn't the biggest fan of the show. Coming in at my number 5 is going to be Zach Galifianakis as Lego Batman Joker. Now, I had to include this one because I actually think Galifianakis did such a fantastic job as voicing the Joker in this Lego Batman version. I actually love the sympathy that you actually do feel for him, and it's a completely different version of the Joker, but I think Galifianakis nailed the comedy beats of him and also just in general the voice. When I watch this film, I don't think that's Galifianakis. I actually see this own interpretation of the Joker, and I just very much appreciated that. Before we get any further into this ranking, guys, make sure again to hit that like and subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on any content like this, and of course early movie reviews. If you guys want to see movies early as well, go check out Amazon Films for early tickets, and of course make sure to thank all my Patreon supporters, because without them I wouldn't be able to do this, and if you're considering being a Patreon supporter just to help me out a bit more, go check out the link down below. Coming in at my number 4 is Jack Nicholson's Joker. Now, let's just talk about Batman in general with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. That film is underrated. Like, I just rewatched it, and it still holds up to date. I think it's a blast of fun, and it's so interesting. Like, given there are certain segments in there that are very much dated, especially all the dancing sequences, I'm like, why are these in here? We don't need them. But Jack Nicholson as the Joker, Jack Nicholson's one of the best actors, but he plays this role so good. I love the aesthetic of how this Joker looks, and that's in general how I'm doing this ranking list. It's kind of like the look, the feel, the movie, and just the performance overall kind of to it, and then a little bit of a personal subjective tone into there because of how I feel about it. I really liked what Jack Nicholson brought to this role, and it was pretty unique to say the least. It's his own interpretation, and at the time an 80s version of the Joker would be this. And my number 3 is going to be Mark Hamill's animated Batman Joker. Now, I grew up with this. The Joker is one of my favorite comic book villains of all time, and when it comes to DC, he is my favorite. I adore what Hamill does for this. His voice is awestruck. It is one of the most memorable voices of all time in any sort of film or TV show. It is seriously, he embodied the Joker. His voice was so good. And now, why is it not number 3? Well, the 2 above this are kind of the ones that I had to go back and forth on. But seriously, I think for fans of the Batman animated series, we all have to agree that when it comes down to Hamill, he's one of the best versions of the Joker. And I'm actually surprised that the CW hasn't hit the nail on the head and gone with, hey, we should put him in like these crossover events as maybe a different multiverse that he is the Joker. Because he's what, I think the Tinkerer and the Flash. We should get him as the Joker. Get him as a live action Joker so I can bump him up on this list just a bit more. But I love Mark Hamill, and I had to include him on this list. Total childhood memories on that part. And the Batman animated series is one of the best television shows ever made. And coming in at my number 2, I flipped this back and forth. And I'm still kind of flipping it back and forth. I think on rewatches, I think this one will go up to number 1. I have to have this at my number 2 right now, and that is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I think I love the suit design. I love the makeup. It's my favorite makeup or suit design of any of the Jokers. I think this performance is a knockout of the park, Oscar worthy. He should win the Oscar if the Oscars were tomorrow. Totally should win this award. I think Phoenix, it's very long overtime, dude. I think the movie is really good, but I loved his performance in there, and that's kind of where it goes to. I love his performance. I think the movie's really good. Movie, I've talked about it in my spoiler review, my non-spoiler review. I had some issues with the script, but it's his performance that really elevated this whole film to a different level. The dark sense that he goes into, the uncomfortability that he has within this film that makes you feel uncomfortable, that you nervously laugh just like him. It felt like taking multiple stab wounds with certain elements that he actually did with inside this film. And Phoenix in general just embodied this version of Arthur Fleck. He went to those dark places of showing how much it takes someone to get to that point. And I love what this film has to say about mental illness. He has one of the best monologues of all time. If we're going by monologues, I think Phoenix would knock it out of the park. But we all know what my number 1 has to be. And of course, my number 1 is Heath Ledger's Joker. Now again, like I said, I think Phoenix could get to my number 1. I think the argument could be made that he is the better Joker because he got a whole film. But for me, I've seen The Dark Knight so many damn times. And I even have a giant portrait of Heath Ledger above my bed, which I'll show you. His Joker is insane. I'm going to edit the video in here of me showing the footage of that photo right now that I have, and it's just incredible. What Heath Ledger did for that performance, because for me, I don't think if The Dark Knight, For me, I don't think if Heath Ledger was actually in The Dark Knight, I don't think that film would be the best in that trilogy. In fact, it's not my favorite, personally. It's my second favorite out of The Dark Knights. But for me, I love what Heath Ledger did in this film. For me, that felt like a Joker film. The opening sequence is incredible. Every single moment that he's the Joker is incredible. It's the same thing. I think him and Phoenix kind of have the same performance, how great they were. 2 different interpretations of the Joker. And one was like an anarchist, and one was more kind of one that you could kind of sympathize with as you're kind of seeing him go to this state. And the Heath Ledger, I mean, there are the arguments to be made that maybe Heath Ledger isn't the best Joker anymore. Maybe Phoenix is. And I think on rewatches, I could get to that point. Right now, they're kind of tied for me. Again, I flipped this back and forth till the moment that I said what I was going to say on this editing video. And maybe I'll go back through and edit it back. But as I'm talking, if you see me saying that clip, it's probably not true. I love Heath Ledger. I love what he does in the role. I like his suit. I like his makeup design. It's really messed up and all dirty, and even though I like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker suit a little bit more and the makeup, Heath Ledger's version wins just a little bit for me on this go around, just because of how much I appreciate what Heath did for this role, and in general all the memorable moments he has in there. And don't get me wrong, Phoenix has many memorable moments and has one of the best monologues of the last 5 years when it comes to a comic book film, and in general some films overall. It was a hard list. God damn it, this was a very hard list, guys. Make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' ranking list of the Jokers. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. Again, hit that like and subscribe if you guys are new here for all sorts of early movie reviews and geeky content. Tons of videos coming out next week. That's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Check out Sam Sean Films. Thank you to everyone who's watched this, and of course, until next time, stay classy.